All need no help. You someone built like this. You playing the role, you wear the disguise, but I know you ain't this. Go play with your friends, I'm not them guys. I don't wanna suck my kick. I can see your soul when I look in your eyes. I know you've been through, but I've been through most, so I ain't surprised. Open the heavens and rain on me. Now I'm so clean, not a stain on it. I send them hitters to come when you living the bullet and this is my name on it. I done been backstabbed by my close friends, so I got a little pain on it. Forgive me if I bleed out, cut them off, I'm free now. I'm gone, stop hitting my phone. We need nobody, nobody need us. Just leave me alone. Switch the location, I elevate. I'm in another zone. Switch the location, I elevate. I had to switch the phone. Hello? I'm blessed. Had to switch the style of phone. I cannot be like the rest of it. Giving myself to the wrong things. Real big thoughts on the own things. No real thoughts, they calm things. Let's go. We can't tell everybody, gotta explain yourself. You can't change your thing until you change yourself. Before I saw point fingers, I blame myself. Don't need nobody, I like to turn up all by myself. I'm gone, stop hitting my phone. We need nobody, nobody need us. Just leave me alone. Switch the location, I elevate. I'm in another zone. Switch the location, I elevate. I had to switch the phone. Hello? I'm blessed. Had to switch the style of phone. I cannot be like the rest of it. Giving myself to the wrong things. Real big thoughts on the own things. No real thoughts, they calm things. Let's go. No real thoughts, they calm things. Do my own thing. When we drop it, don't play no games. That's that cocaine. Say they for you, but be so lame. Now I'm so ashamed. Big old Draco and a Glock 40, let them both bang. You know we pressure applying, we got big smoke. You try to take something from me, it better be no shot. I got a supreme fire, you cannot get close. I know that they all flaw, I know that they all joke. We can't deliver by.
Yes, indeed. Sometimes we have got to switch the location, change our phone numbers so we can turn up all by ourselves. And of course, you know, you're on another journey to truth and life, rocking with your boy, none other than More Than a Conqueror. Been living 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness in my car, but it's all good though. You know, sometimes the situations isn't as feasible as we would like them to be, but it's all good. So, you know what I mean? I'm here in my car. This is legit. I just woke up. So I'm going to try to get this video out as quick as possible. Couple of notes that I wanted to mention. There's many of us who have endured unconstitutional, inhumane crimes against humanity, and we're definitely in recovery. You know, when you go through what we've experienced, from the human trafficking to the lies, rumors, slander, torture, poisoning, drugging, surveillance, and counterintelligence programs, you're going to need to recover. As a matter of fact, I did release a short video yesterday. I'm going to try to start off with some of the psychological and physical abuse that someone endures as a targeted individual. If I can just find my book here. Here we go. This book I mentioned on yesterday is called When Others Make Your Life Difficult. It's by Daniel E. Miller, and it only costs me $2.99 plus tax. So that's a cheap price to pay for the information that you're going to receive. I'll make this video quick, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Chapter 7 covers ways others make life difficult. And I'm just going to go through the bullet points because these are psychological and emotional damaging warfare tactics utilized by those that should be protecting and serving, but they're not. So I'm just going to go over it. Number one on the list is rejection. Many of us have experienced rejection in many different ways. Once you're thrown on the targeting list, you will be rejected. The churches will reject you. Your family will reject you. Your community will reject you. And this will play out in many different ways, but it will definitely be obvious. Number 2, mocking. Everyone will seem to shine a light on you, and the focus will be on you. If you're in the grocery store, whatever the case may be, it'll be attention on you. And even if you're doing everything right, they will mock what you're doing and shine a negative light on it. I apologize for the hang up. Number 3 is blame. It's always going to be your fault. Number 4 is going to be false accusations. Everywhere you go, you're going to be falsely accused of everything. And if any of the false accusations against us was true, we would be locked up behind bars. But it's not legit, and therefore the ultimate purpose of false accusation is to turn the perspective, the positive perspective of others toward you into negative, perceptions. They want to paint you in a bad light, and this stems from projection. They will project their negative character onto you, and whoever they are, they will tell the world that that's who you are. And for some reason, if people really don't know you extremely well, they will buy into it. You get the CIA, FBI, NSA behind this crap and their technology along with the military. It becomes very believable. And add in the fact that they do study psychology and sociology, so they understand human behavior to the optimum, which means that they know the craft of destroying a human being. Read 2 Kings chapter 19, I believe. The Jezebel spirit is what this is. The narcissistic cluster B personality Jezebel spirit knows the art and craft of tearing down a human being. And anytime that they see character in you, which is the character of the Most High God, in the name of His Son, Jesus Christ, or Yeshua HaMashiach in the Hebraic, they want to destroy that. It's not necessarily you that they hate and they're attacking. Satan has always, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, the beast, have always been jealous of Christ, Yeshua. So he plays out this story through his children against, those that are of Christ. Just know that Ephesians chapter 6 ensures us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but it goes deeper than this physical experience that we're having. Its roots are definitely spiritual. Number 6, I believe, avoidance. People that you used to love, cherish, and trust, and have relationships, relational bonds with, in whatever capacity, they will begin to avoid you. And this will quite naturally make you feel emotionally and mentally scarred. This is why we have to heal. So recognizing that avoidance, this isn't your fault. If someone attacks you and you haven't done anything to them, it's not your fault. Even though we're feeling, the consequences of whatever's going on, the repercussions, more or less, is not your fault. Make sure you tell yourself, look in the mirror, I got to do it. I'm living in my car. And I get up, go to work, still living in my car. They cut me loose from my job for no reason at all. No other than the fact that I saw through the Truman Show theater, and I let them know, I know this is act. You guys are dispatching me to locations. When I get there, you have crisis actors, and for some sick reason, they always bring in the actors from the Rainbow Coalition Committee, which I don't have a problem with anyone. I may have a problem with their lifestyle because I don't agree with it, but I disagree with a lot of people's lifestyle. If that hurt them that much that they can be recruited to try to destroy my life, then there's something there they need to deal with, you know. And so I'm not even going to make this video get bogged down into that subject, but that's something that they do, is they always bring in the Rainbow Committee boys, and they will dispatch me to a certain location, and they'll have these crisis actors there with their little cameras and their phones and whatever the case may be. It's sick. You know, it shows me one thing: the government and the orchestrators, the handlers of this program, have no empathy for anyone. If someone puts you in a position to be endangered like that, it's sad. I mean, at the least, I'm a truck driver, so I am going to at least have, you know, a pocket knife to do mechanical work with. And if you're creating that dangerous situation where if I wasn't someone who's nonviolent, then it could possibly go south real quick. So avoidance is another thing. People that know you, they know your positive character, and they have somehow gotten involved or became aware of the targeting campaign launched against you as a chosen elect individual. They feel guilty and they're not allowed to talk about it because it's often classified as some sort of investigation, some sort of federal legal investigation, and we'll try to get to that. So avoidance is not your fault, and do not try to go out of your way to contact these people. They know they're in the wrong, you know. Stalking. Well, no, I'm sorry. That concludes the types of psychological abuse. Now we're about to get into physical abuse. The number one sign of physical abuse, and I'm just reading direct from this book, is stalking. This is where we get gangstalking from. So stalking is number one, and we have all experienced gangstalking. That's why, you know, the platforms are blowing up. Everyone's noticing that the community policing is geared around stalking in multiple capacities. So there's people following you off everywhere you go, and it's geared around the surveillance. So whether you've been illegally chipped with RFID chips that track and trace you, or your car's been bugged, cameras, they're going to know where you are, and they will stalk you wherever you go. And it'll be quite obvious to you, and sometimes it'll be obvious to others, but most of the time it's meant to be obvious to you and incognito to everyone else around you. That way, when you complain about it, it seems as if you have the psychological problem. Number two of physical abuse is destruction of property. Literally, I was trying to upload a video yesterday with a guy. He literally had 666 on his tags, and it was Illinois tags. They realized that I was getting ready to travel from Chicago and go somewhere. They know I'm going to head south to come see my family, take care of business, do whatever the case may be. And so I had to get my oil changed because it's like a 1,200-mile trip. And when I got ready to go get my oil changed, first thing that showed up was a white federal surveillance van. The next thing was these tags that said 666 on it. But my peripheral vision is excellent. So the moment that I seen them pull up and duck off into the corner, and the guy pulled his vehicle into the bay as if he wanted to get his oil changed too, I went on the having my guards up position, and I pulled out my phone and I said, I'm going to start recording this guy. So he turned his back to me so I couldn't get his face once he realized I was recording. So I said, okay, well, if you're not going to show your face on camera, you're doing all this evil stuff, you should let people see what you're truly up to and who you're associated with. So I walk out into the oil bay. If you ever been to Jiffy Lube, you know the setup there. And I'm recording his tags. He run out full speed, startled me, knocked the phone out of my hand, and it was just one of those experiences that if I hadn't recorded, you wouldn't believe me, because what we go through as chosen elect, targeted individuals would seem strange. This is why I come in the book of James, I believe, chapter 5, chapter 2, it says, think it not strange when you're faced with these fiery trials, because the first thing is to say this is not normal, and it's not normal physically, but spiritually, the spiritual warfare is a common thing. So, destruction of property. They cut all my hoses while I was in there with a razor. So whenever I got to driving on the highway, my vehicle started overheating, and it did it chronologically. So it was like the first hose cracked, and I was like, okay, that's strange. And, I ended up shutting down for a few hours, having to change that hose. The next one bust. By the time I made it to Monroe, Louisiana, I had to replace every single hose, and every last one of them had a razor-thin cut right where it started leaking, where you could see a box cutter had went through there. Just on the surface, but not deep enough to initially cause a leak. But as the pressure built up, it would give in, and that's exactly what it did. So that lets me know that these guys are professional destroyers of others' property. And the sad part about it is the legislation, H.R. 2048, U.S. Code 105, read those articles. It gives them judicial immunity. This is why so many criminal-minded, evil people are turning into the Gangstalking program. You can go down to the Fusion Center, sign up with the Department of Homeland Security or any of the private security corporations that are associated with this racketeering program. And it is racketeering. That's a federal crime being committed by federal representatives, federal government representatives, and their subcontractees. They're turning into it because not only do they get paid, but they get a chance to carry out their criminal behavior. Number 3 is riots. And riots isn't necessarily what you see with Antifa and the hired fake protesters from Black Lives Matters and MAGA or whatever the case may be. It can also include workplace mobbing. So they will riot you at your job. You will be bombarded, overwhelmed. There will be a sense of irrational demands, as well as they will firebomb you with work demands that are unreasonably obtained. And the objective is to, create conditions that you're crushed under. psychologically and physically. Identity fraud. This also includes cyber hacking. So they will hack your devices, they will steal your information, your call logs, credit cards, driver's license, social security card, whatever the case may be. Identity theft will play a part into that. Okay, we're at number 5 of physical abuse. Sexual abuse is number 5. They will sexually abuse you. They have technology nowadays in order to try to stimulate someone sexually or either bring some sort of sick pain to their genitals. And it sounds sick because that's what it is, sick. But these psychopaths, they get off on sexually abusing the targeted individual or manipulating them. With the technology, it is beyond imagination. Some of you guys will be sitting there wondering what in the world is going on with certain body parts, and you know it's not normal. It's like someone's trying to purposely stimulate that. And guess what? Your federal government have patents on technologies that is no touch, uses certain frequencies and lasers that is geared toward this. Romola D, when she did have her page, did a excellent segment on the sexual abuse and the technology designed by Holly Barton, Lockheed Martin, DARPA, and other big tech manufacturers for this particular purpose. Now, ask yourself a question. Why would the CIA, the FBI, 209, military intelligence, want to develop technology that could sexually abuse someone from a distance? They would have to be clinical psychopaths. No other explanation. They are demonic clinical psychopaths. That's it. The second part of sexual abuse is they try to deprive you from sexual gratification. This is what we call in the hood haterism. They will be hating on you 24/7. If there's a young lady that likes you as a young man and you guys meet, exchange numbers, they will call behind your back. They will send harassing text. They will have social media platforms and websites specifically designed to help accomplish destroying any sort of relationships that you may build. This is why, it may be difficult for you to find a date or maintain a date. I've gotten to the point I said I'm just going to use this moment of my life as a sabbatical of celibacy, dedicating my life to the Most High, because every single time, if I do, meet a young lady and she's beautiful, and I walk up to her and I say, excuse me, I definitely would love to get to know you. Gangstalking goes from 10% to 110% instantly. Within a matter of seconds, my phone will be hacked, 25 people will show up, and although it sounds crazy, this is actually real. And her experience will be worse than mine, so it'll be no chance that I will ever get a call back or that relationship will go anywhere. And this is sad. They just have a hateristic spirit. Don't be a hater, be a congratulator. If you're a gang stalker watching this video, I know you got to be sick and tired of hating. Number 6 is going to be theft. Theft is also given judicial immunity. according to the Patriot Act legislation. Number 7 is unjust imprisonment. I'm going to show you guys this. I did show it on yesterday. You see it? This was a warrant that they had unjustifiably issued for my arrest. Now, let me remind you, I have no criminal background. There's, my name. There's the date that they sent this out or mailed it, right? Even though it was sent before that. There's the docket number. And you see that's the date of the ticket. So that's 4/7/21. So on 4/7/21, I got a traffic ticket for coasting through a stop sign or something. And the ticket was like $125. And the ticket that the guy gave me, who had a officer badge number of 300666, literally, that was his badge number. I may actually put it on this video so you can actually see for yourself. The citation had no information regarding who to talk to, how to pay the ticket, if I could pay it online, if I needed to mail it in. It had none of that information. So it was a setup from the beginning, because I was out of state as a commercial driver, and I wasn't going to travel 2,000 miles just to try to go address that. So I went online, I Googled the area and the location I was in, and I went online and I'm searching through, the court clerk websites trying to figure out a way to pay a ticket. So I finally put in the docket number and was able to kind of pull up something. And when I tried to pay it, it says I was not able to pay, that I had to call the courthouse in order to plead guilty, before I would be eligible to pay the ticket. So I went through like so many loopholes trying to pay this ticket. 8 days after I got this ticket, they issued a warrant. This is part of the targeting program. Who gets a traffic citation, and 8 days later, this human trafficking ring. You see that? I'm not making this stuff up. I didn't print this out. You see that? Never before in my life have this ever happened to me or anyone else. And so I eventually did pay it. They thought by upping the amount of the ticket that it was going to keep me from paying it, and they didn't want to take my payment in full. I told them, well, I have the full amount of the payment, and the clerk was trying to convince me to make I could make payments over 6 months, and I said, you got to be kidding me. I'm not just going to play your game, because I know how that's going to go. But there's the amount. They jacked it up from 125 to 206, and I'm hoping that you guys can see that. So this is what I had to deal with, and this is part of the human trafficking unjust imprisonment, which is definitely mentioned in this book. The next one is called bodily harm. If they can't imprison you and human traffic you that way, they will physically harm you. Now, they've been frying me. If I go get a motel or something right now, I'm in my car, they will microwave me through the walls. They'll radiate me. They will poison me. They have drugged me. They've even broken into my home and beaten me. The sick things that they have done to me, I don't even want to recap, because if you meditate on that stuff, you'll get upset and you might be ready to go punch somebody head off. The last one is called murder. their ultimate goal is to try to murder you as a targeted individual. So why, chapter 8 is, why do they do this stuff? I'm going to breeze through this. There's 3 reasons why people do this. Number 1 is they are afraid. They are afraid of the fact that you may become successful, that others may like you better than them. There's a whole lot of false pseudos, psychotic reasons why that they're afraid, even though you pose no physical threat. Number 2, I thought should have been number 1. They are jealous. They are jealous of you. You know, you're happy, you're smiling. You may not even have as much as them externally, but internally you have joy, you have peace of mind. Maybe they believe that you're wise, you're smart, whatever the case may be. You're creative. You have people that truly love you. They're jealous of that, and they want to destroy it. They want to trade places with you. The narcissistic, soulless demon wants to trade places with you. Number 3 is they are prejudiced. And as a black man in America who have grown up in the South and eventually moved up north after getting married later on in life to Chicago, I know about prejudice. If anybody knows about prejudice, I do. And this program is definitely built on prejudice. That's what the counterintelligence program was designed for, is to exert prejudice in a legalistic fashion. All right, so we're at 32 minutes. Do we have enough time? Every time I get to this portion, I never have enough time to go over it, and I do have some good information to read. I'm not even going to get started, because if I do, then that means, you know what I mean, I'm going to have to just really go in on it, because it's just too deep. We'll do a part 2 maybe later on this evening. Until next time, you guys stay blessed, keep your head up, and make sure that you do whatever it takes in order to heal you. Don't let them stop you, even if they're making your life difficult. All right? Stay woke. If you're not woke, wake up and be blessed. Your boy is out.